Exciting. All right, everybody, welcome to LegionsCast. Finally, we're back. It's been a long time.
There's been some complaints.
There has been some complaints.
Yeah.
There's people that want us back. I blame you guys. I've been ready to go every week. But these two guys here have been unmotivated, undedicated. Is that a word? It is now.
Yeah. I'll give it. I'll allow it.
Yeah. But we're back, and we have a ton of reason to be back. Travis needs really basically the earth and the sun to move for him to think that it is LegionsCast worthy. And we've got something bigger than that today, because with us is two of the four horsemen, or the three of the four horsemen. There's two of them here.
Today we have two of the four horsemen.
That's what we have. Yes. So, without further ado, we need to welcome to the show both Eric Cornboy Mays and Eric Treadaway. Welcome, guys. How you doing?
Hey guys, doing good. Thanks for having us. You guys are the fourth horseman, right?
Yeah, it is officially official.
Everybody who is involved with Four Horsemen Studios outside of the actual studio itself is the fourth horseman. It's kind of like the 12th man on the football team, right?
Nope, stop talking right there. We're gonna cut. We're gonna edit that out. And after you said that we were the fourth horseman, the rest of that audio gets cut. So,
yep.
It looks like you two never left the spot you were in from last night when you went live.
Well, I changed shirts, but that was it.
Right.
It was dark when we left, so that's maybe the only giveaway.
Speaking of shirts, there's been complaints about those beautiful shirts that you guys put out. I actually got mine yesterday in the mail, and I literally almost cried because I'm no longer a 3X, and those shirts are absolutely beautiful.
Well, I guess.
What did you order?
3X.
Oh, so it's way too big for you then.
Yep.
my 3Xs are a little snug, so I'm gonna have to get with Chris on some quality control issues. But so
mine are just fine, which means I'm maintaining a level body weight, which the doctor says is good. It's not good to yo-yo. So I guess I'm the one that I get the health award today. No diabetes yet either, as of yesterday.
Nice.
I check daily.
Nice,
That's
buddy.
plus.
Nice.
What are the complaints you guys have heard on the shirts?
Oh, no. I should not say that. Not when people actually got them in their hands. I'm talking about the people complaining about that they had to get a shirt. Which I'm going to be honest, I thought was a genius advertising move by you guys regardless. So those people can all just
it was just cool.
down.
Let's face it. If you're into toys and you're into Mythic Legions, usually you need new stuff to wear.
Right.
Because, I mean, we're all pretty much slobs.
right. Well, what a great way to showcase more beautiful art. So you've got the packaging, you've got the websites. I mean, there's all these ways to get that art out there. And you guys showcase two different artists with those shirts. They're, it's the roots of the Four Horsemen logo, but new twists on old favorites. And anytime you can throw a bone and say, hey, look at how great this person is a win for sure. So
yeah, I completely agree. Like Nate Barch and Melita Curfey, I mean, they just did a spectacular job on both those shirts. They're beautiful, and when I got mine, I wasn't sure which one to wear first because I love Nate, but I really like the monstrous look of this one that Melita did. So I was kind of torn on which one I wanted to wear first.
One of the things that's so cool for us is, like last year we went out to D-Con, Designer Con, or not last year, the year before. The time's just turning in on itself. But we were out there, and that's a show that's a little less action figure oriented. It's more eclectic. But it was the coolest thing because everybody that was coming up to our table had on LegionsCast shirts, Cabal shirts, Horseman shirts. And it was just cool because, you know, these guys were congregating around the table, and, you know, it's just like this calling card for, you know, for fans of the line and kindred spirit. So it's, you know, that's for us, it's great to get more shirts out there. Just, you know, people can, you know, show off their fandom.
I actually had a woman at the grocery the other day ask me what this was, and I had to kind of explain it to her. So, I mean, if people are asking, hey, what the heck is that creepy ass shirt you're wearing? Oh, excuse the language. The creepy shirt you're wearing there. Then, you know, maybe the name Four Horsemen will get out there a little bit more. Maybe Mythic Legions will get a little bit more noticed by people. Who knows?
When we're not on LegionsCast, I'll have to share a story with you guys about Travis having to explain a T-shirt that I designed to an old lady who wanted to buy it for her son, and didn't get what it was saying. So we totally get that. But I mean, you think back to the Legions Con, and you've got those East Coast yahoos wearing shirts with our faces on them, and then Cornboy, you jumping in and getting your picture taken with your head in the middle, and because I mean, you've always been, you know, the fourth podcast host, you know, I mean, well, you and everybody else that supports My Wife Is Going to Kill Me have always been the fourth podcast host. So, but kind of that reciprocation back when you put any type of content out there and you get people that enjoy it that much, they're going to strap a shirt on and walk around with your logo. That's super. It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just the fact that people like the work that we do is first of all, it's insane, but it's super rewarding that people really dig the work that we do. But to then even like have our logo emblazoned on their chest and sporting it around and showing it off, that's like, I mean, who can ask for anything more than that? That's so awesome.
Did you guys, I know this is going back in time a little bit for you, but 20 years ago, was this like your plan? Was it like, hey, we're going to build this community where people are going to be wearing T-shirts that have our symbol on them? I mean, was that like something you guys like thought you wanted, or was the end goal of all of this?
Yeah, back when I was 6 years old, I was thinking this is what I wanted to have. Eric's always been like a huge, like a T-shirt collector. He's like the guy with his fist in the air. More T-shirts. We need to do T-shirts all the time. I mean, and he's right. We need to have T-shirts of our stuff out there. We've got some things planned. I think we lost the video on LegionsCast.
Yeah, we got it.
There they are.
Thought we lost you guys for a second. It was going to be the Eric and Cornboy podcast.
You didn't lose us, but you definitely have us frozen, staring awkwardly.
Those are all three really sexy poses there too. I like that.
All of us staring up at the screen so we can see your guys' beautiful faces.
Eric's always the proponent for us getting T-shirts made, and he's right. We have some things planned that haven't been shown yet. I think I might have given you guys a couple sneak peeks on some of the stuff recently, but yeah, there's more of this kind of stuff on the way. Maybe we won't force you to buy them with action figures, but now that people have these in hand and they see how cool they are, and you know the positive response we've gotten off of it, we're going to be doing a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Nice. And this seems like a very appropriate time to mention that the wonderful Nate Barch, I knew I was going to say it wrong, Nate Barch and the Horsemen have actually given us the blessing to do a exclusive Horseman logo T-shirt for the My Wife Is Going to Kill Me website, which is going to be super cool because, I mean, has Nate ever done anything that wasn't super cool? So that's, again, another one of those cool opportunities to put two things we love together and give the fans, you know, the fans of both things something to, you know, pop on and head down to a Comic-Con. And so the real question is have you guys gotten any pictures of people with Mythic Legions tattoos?
I haven't seen any yet. Have you, Eric?
I know Jeremy has the Is Ramirez.
Oh, right.
Other than that, I'm not aware of any. No.
Huh.
Right.
You know what? I don't know has Jeremy shown you guys his tattoo?
Yes. He has. He showed me.
He needs to show that off, like on the Cabal or something. I think people will go crazy over that. It's awesome.
Well, he doesn't show it off very easily. It was a late night. We were Skyping. We were both drinking and experimenting. It was one of those nights you let your inhibitions down and you start showing people stuff.
A little liquid lubrication. Just us again. So how's it going, Eric?
It's going well. It's been a long time.
I think they disappeared.
So it really is the Cornboy.
Yeah, I had a tough time getting up for this morning, but that's worth it.
So I'll ask you a question that I saw asked last night multiple times. You think it might have even been the last question I saw. What is the King Kong figure behind you?
Oh, it's actually beside me, but it looks like it's behind me.
Oh, okay.
And that's a Mezco 18-inch King Kong figure. It's massive. This is it next to the troll.
Now, is that a new figure? Like, is that a new release?
It was released, I think, a few months ago. Not really recently, but I was able to get it cheaper because I don't know if the guy wasn't able to sell them or whatever. But my toy pimp Milo hooked me up at Empire Toy Shop. Hooked me up at a pretty decent price with this guy, but he's destined for the customs pile, eventually when I get some spare time and retire, because Mezco has a character in their line that is a giant gorilla that has just a big eyeball for a head. I didn't order this because I was never really much of a fan of this head. I like it, but it's a little bit too cartoony for me. But that's what this guy's going to become. I don't know the name of that thing.
Is that the same Kong they did a smaller version?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they did I think it was a 9-inch version or something like that of it, or 8-inch version. And it's exact same thing except scaled up, and I think it's less articulated because it's rotomolded. Hey, they're back.
We're back.
We kept the show going for you.
We heard you.
I don't know if we were live.
Yeah, you guys were all set. We're just trying to get the camera squared away.
So Eric, you mentioned or Cornboy, you're both Eric. I gotta get used to that. You mentioned retirement. What does retirement look like for a guy like you? I mean, is there ever going to be a time you don't want to sit down and make cool toys?
No, that's the problem. I keep saying, when I retire, I want to do this and that and everything, but I don't think I'll ever. Unless I lose my eyesight or something, I don't think, which is happening. I don't think I'll ever retire. I can't. How can you retire from making toys for a living?
I don't know, because it sounds like it would just be something that you could do until you die.
I mean, if you're a physical sculptor, now that we've gone digital, I need my eyes as much as my hands, or more so. If you're a physical sculptor, you need the hands and the dexterity and everything. And I guess you do somewhat with digital sculpting now too. But most of what I do now is project manage more than anything. Art direct, project manage. So I just really need my eyeballs more than anything. I can recite something to somebody if I want them to type it up for me, but
so you rarely talk about you sculpting anything these days. Do you do ZBrush and all that stuff?
No. Well, I mean, I mess around with it a little bit, but not well enough to get it to the point where we're at now. There's no way, and that's the problem. I don't have the time now to work on it, to learn it as well as I would like. I can mess around with it a little bit, and I might be able to go in and touch up, like do some revisions on somebody's sculpture, just minor things, just to let them know what I'm looking for, but not well enough to be able to submit it as a usable piece of artwork.
Was that transition hard? I mean, not only from the standpoint of going from a traditional sculpt to digital, but there's a lot of people, even across other mediums. And I was talking to my tattoo artist, actually switched to a different style gun, and he's like, I kind of feel like a sellout because I'm not using this standard machine anymore, but he's got some nerve damage and he can't take the vibration. And once he went to that, it's, he's able to tattoo all day, every day again. And was there anything kind of like that? Was it kind of, did you feel like maybe you were deserting the old school when you guys went digital?
For us, I think it was more, we resisted for a long time. Had all kinds of reasons, why not to switch over. And a lot of it was kind of, like this, like, I don't know, like purity of, the traditional sculpting and stuff like that. And then the learning curve was a bit steep and frustrating, but then once we got into digital, we realized all the advantage of it so quickly, and really never look back, because it's, what I always talk about is it's like, it's what's in your head. It's not, what you're doing with your hands or what material you're using. It's still the same set of decisions that you're making, the same thought processes. It's just, it's like a cliche type of a statement, but it's just a different tool. And with the digital, you're spending less time fighting against the clay and matching stuff and sanding down clay and all this, and spending more time being creative. And that's what I love about it, because it technically, is it faster? Yes, but I look at it more like now you have more time to add details and try out different variations that would be tougher to do traditionally. So things still take as long, if not longer, but just you've got so much creative freedom and the ability to, you're not really restricted by as much as, you don't have to put an armature in it. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to spend as much time sculpting one arm as you would the other. They do them simultaneously. So you can spend more time on that one arm and just adding, every little detail that you could possibly want.
I got to think too, I can only imagine the frustrated pile of clay when, oh man, I think this is going to be a great idea, but then it doesn't translate the way that you wanted it to. And you go, okay, well, you start over, where now you just go, click, undo, and it takes you back to where you are. And so I got to think some of that frustration piece is out of there, but that goes to show, I mean, that explanation of the Four Horsemen saying, hey, it can be faster now, but guess what? It's not faster, because we actually do more, and we do more detail, and we get more creative, for that end result for the fans. It's another testament to how you guys do things and why you have people rolling around with Four Horsemen t-shirts on, because you could do it faster, but you still take that time to make it awesome.
Well, one of the reasons that we really resisted early on and wanted to stay traditional is that we had seen a lot of digital sculptures by other people that were out there when it was kind of still in its fledgling days, the whole digital sculpting thing. And a lot of it looked really like kind of lifeless and just like almost mechanical, instead of like having a life and a spirit of its own. And so we were kind of concerned with that. But I got to say, and I've said it before, is that when Eric first got into it and started sculpting in ZBrush, I think, if I remember correctly, the first figure we did for production that was actually finished and ready to go was a DC Universe Classic Supergirl figure. Pretty sure that's the one it was. But whatever the case, the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, we don't really have that concern at all here, because this looks like an Eric Treadaway figure. Like, I could see all the little earmarks of Eric Treadaway sculpting in that figure, and it didn't look lifeless. It didn't look like it was mechanical or that it didn't look like it had been sculpted digitally. It looked like he just had that piece of clay in his hand, sculpted it, and finished it up. And so my concerns there were alleviated. And him saying that there was a learning curve, they might have been, but it must have all been behind the scenes, because we knew that, oh, I'm going to try some digital sculpting. And then it seemed like it was 2 weeks later, he had this full sculpture in there. And we're like, wow, okay. And it was beautiful. So
I got to think that the digital accessibility has brought a lot of people that skip the traditional way of you guys doing it. They don't have that experience and they just jump into the digital realm. Eric, being a guy who did traditional, can bring all that to the digital version, and I think that's probably why it puts you a little bit ahead of people who never got to do it old school. Kind of like a guy who never picked up a pencil, but then just goes into Procreate and just start to draw because they think that the draw assist and everything will make them be able to do it perfectly. But their stuff isn't going to come out like someone who's drawn from a kid out. I would assume. That's just me babbling. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, with the digital sculpting, like I can tell, like it sounds weird, but like I sculpt digitally like a traditional sculptor. Like and what I mean by that is like people who have learned completely digitally, they're learning with all these tools at their disposal. And there's kind of like, sometimes like shortcuts or things where you can press a button and it does it for you. And I think, I find myself doing more like textures and things by hand than maybe somebody who would have learned digitally. And that's for better or worse. I think sometimes, I might be more resistant to using, one of these like pre-programmed type tools that you can use. Whereas, if somebody who learned digitally might be slapping these textures and things all over the figure and it looks great and it's super tight. Whereas what I'm doing sometimes has more of like a raw, hand done quality to it. And like I said, I mean, that could be for better or worse, depending on what you're particularly going for on a project. And, it might be wasting more of my time, but, it's just what you come into it with. It's again, like I said, it's the way just your mind has been trained to make your decisions. And, for me, I sculpted for, again, it was probably 16, 17 years traditionally by the time I really got into doing ZBrush full time. And so, there's a lot of baggage, acquired in those years.
Good baggage. Travis, did you have some stuff you wanted to get to?
I've got a lot of stuff I want to get to, but I'd say probably like the biggest was the party yesterday, the big reveal. How excited were you guys for Jeremy Gerard's niece's baby shower?
It was beautiful. I had to run out and get a gift last minute, but
did you guys get notifications for that?
No. You guys got a notification for that?
Jeremy did Crowdcast. He put something together for his family, like the wonderful dude that he is. And because he was the guy that created it, it sent it out to everyone who is subscribed to him on Crowdcast. So everyone who came to GCon or what was it? It was the LegionsCon.
Yeah, LegionsCon.
They got an invite to that. I imagine if they still were registered for those. And it was just so funny because that was going on earlier in the day. And then, of course, you guys last night. And
on top of it, probably our 200th episode, too. So he probably got a bunch of jerks. Or my wife is going to kill me.
You're right. I'm sure he did.
Did you guys pop in at all?
I didn't because I am somewhat respectful. Which he might be upset with me because, hey, he sent out the invite.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's perfect.
How did you guys like doing that last night? Did you enjoy revealing each figure like that live with the fans?
Yeah, I mean, that started with the Alithia wave with, I mean, it was all kind of like Jeremy's brainchild. It was his thing to do. And I've got Baxter trying to get out of the room here, so it's distracting me a little bit. That was kind of Jeremy's brainchild to do it that way. And it worked fantastically with the Alithia release. So we've decided, you know what, let's start doing a little bit more of that. And that's not the last time you're going to see that sort of thing with us. We're going to be doing more of that with wave releases and things, because it was a good way of doing it. And I think fans seem to be really excited about doing it that way.
I couldn't see the number of people that were in there watching that last night, but you know, when you consider Saturday night kind of during that prime time, especially for old people, you know, to get a bunch of people, and I could have swore I heard like 500 or something along those lines, a bunch of people in watching something like that. To me, I mean, that's just amazing. Just a cool little facet.
Yeah, I think Jeremy did say 500 at one point, and we were absolutely stunned because, I mean, we make toys for a living, and we have people that are that into it and they're that dedicated to the Mythic Legions line that they're going to be spending their Saturday evening hanging out with us and watching a video rather than hanging out with their friends or going out and partying or doing whatever, you know, going out for dinner. That's really cool.
Super
I don't
cool.
know what the top number was, but at one point Jeremy did say 500 people.
When I jumped on briefly last night, there was 648.
Wow.
When I looked, and it actually kind of pissed me off because I look and I'm like, well, there's 648 people watching, but there's less than 500 subscribers to your guys' YouTube channel. I'm like, are you a fan or not? You don't get to just jump in and enjoy the live stream without subscribing.
Well, we haven't promoted that YouTube channel very much. There's not a ton of stuff on there, but our friend Alberto Arribas has offered to kind of take it over and put some of his stuff on there, and I think we're probably going to do that and push that YouTube channel a little bit more.
You guys literally are giving people crack. There's no other way to describe it. I know it's a family-friendly show. Literally, like these amazing, talented people. I mean, not
us exception.
Yeah,
the exception.
but these amazingly talented people love you guys' product so much. They're like, oh, hey, yeah, I would love to help out. Let me jump in. You need your toenails cut, Mr. Mays? No problem.
Well, I was just saying this last night that we are super fortunate. It was before we were on the air, and I was giving Jeremy a big head. We're super fortunate with everybody we've surrounded ourselves with, and we're trying as much as possible. We like to pull from the collector community to join us in this endeavor, and like Jeremy, Walt, I mean everybody who's Alberto. You guys don't give yourselves enough credit. Yeah, you're stupid, but you guys put on a great podcast, and I've said it a bunch of times that, you know, it's my favorite podcast now, and I'm an avid podcast listener. It's been my favorite podcast for at least a couple years now. So we're just fortunate that people, you know, with all these diverse talents and as talented as they are, actually want to jump on board with and help out with this line. It's super freaking cool.
And speaking of how stupid we are, I have to make a correction. According to one of our watchers this morning, Curtis Ackerman, he's advising me that 648 number I saw was actually my scale, not the viewer numbers. So, yeah, that was
that is a scale.
Yeah. So, thanks, Curtis. I'll be sure to include you in my suicide note. So.
Don't do it hanging it that way. Your head will come right off.
Maybe there's some other people we need to apologize because we might upset some Legions fans with that. Got a little bit dark for a second.
Every now and then.
Yeah, it's okay. Corn Boy said ass, so we're all set. So,
I was referring to a donkey. It's appropriate.
Do you guys mind if we bring up some pictures of the figures and just poke your brain a little bit on them?
Absolutely. Dig in.
All right,
Cody.
Here's where we test Cody.
Yeah.
And hey, guys, so while we're doing this, huge shout out to Seducer Cody. This is the type of thing that he learns about like the day ahead of time, and he has to learn an entirely new platform. He got himself a brand new camera for all of this. He really puts in the time. We can't say enough good things about him.
And we haven't paid him in 2 months.
Yeah.
I paid him this morning.
Oh, did you?
he said he wasn't going to show up if he didn't. So
I guess it would have been nice of us to send him actual images of the figures instead of making him go to our Store Horseman page, huh?
Yeah, and that's another example of actually us just being a worthless podcast host too.
Start with the Deluxe Barbarian Legion builder right there, Cody.
Oh my gosh!
Damn.
No problem. This is fine, Cody.
Can you click on the large picture? Or does it not let you?
If you click on the top big one, Cody, does that? Nope. Yeah.
They're seeing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
So
beautiful.
Right off the bat, that right there, and I was. So you guys also did the sculpting for Super 7's Conan the Barbarian movie line, and that right there looks like it could be in the Conan the Barbarian movie to me.
I could see that. I mean, I think, yesterday we were talking about this guy as being, one of those characters that you could have seen on in a 70s metal album cover, side of a van, that kind of thing. And I think it really speaks to that, that 70s, early 80s depiction of fantasy. Where you saw like you see those badass. Though I said it too. Whoops.
We're adults. We're adults.
Those Frazetta paintings, like barbarians and warriors and things like that. And so and I feel like our barbarians in general just really play into that aesthetic. And so this guy just it's a great nod to that, and a head that I think is going to be versatile. I've already seen some people saying that they're going to use this head on their dwarf figures. You do some different paint application, different beard colors, switch out the horns on it. There's a lot of coolness that goes with this one.
This has got to be, I mean, you guys have done a ton of great helmets. This has got to be one of my favorite helmets. And it's not flashy. There's not a bunch of colors on it. It's just a beautiful sculpt, and it looks purpose built. Like this guy, he's not trying to attract attention. He just wants to rip your guts out.
Yeah. There's no face being shown there at all. It's all helmet and beard and mustache, but there's still so much personality in that in that head.
All business.
My favorite part of this figure is I've been on record saying if there's a figure you want people to start with in this line, to me it was the Barbarian Builder set. And that set, of course, because the popularity of this line now is, I mean, if you find one for $150, you're lucky. You're really talking like a $300 purchase. Yeah. And this is giving people the ability to get back in to with one of the coolest parts of this line, and you guys are doing it at a very, very affordable price.
Yeah, $26 for an action figure of this sort today. That's a decent price.
Oh, that's way better than decent.
I don't even have to say to that.
No.
I feel like you're paying me.
Hey, Cody, scroll down a little bit to so we can see the words. I want to do a quick housekeeping thing. Notice, please do not email asking about updates or shipping. That is appropriate for the Cabal. That's where you want to ask that question. So do not email the Horsemen. Just post it up there in the Cabal and ask if anybody else has gotten theirs.
Yeah, that's Chris Garwich there. He's on the ball there.
I will tell you, Chris, my experience with Chris over the last few months is another example of you guys surrounding yourself with some pretty amazing people.
He is. Like, Chris can be really annoying, and I let him know that. But he had come in and just done an amazing job. And his name is actually Chris Gorich, is how you pronounce it, but I mispronounced it early on, so I always call him Chris Garwich now. I like pronounce the Garwich part. Yeah, he's been an unbelievable addition to the team. Like, I don't know that we could be doing the stuff with the store and the shipping and the factory production. He's our production manager at the factory too, without his expertise, because he's really on top of things.
Nice.
Yeah,
He's one of those guys like Jeremy that kind of keeps us on the ball and sends us emails going, "Hey, I asked about this. You guys need to respond so we can get it taken care of."
Anything you
the shop just as our production manager. I mean, that's his, kind of a official reason for being in the office. And then, it turns out he's an outstanding customer service rep. Like, he's taken people who were cursing our names, and just by getting on with them and explaining things properly and having a good positive attitude, like, converted people completely, in a 180 to where they, they're loving what we're doing. And, it's just a testament to how good he is and how personable he is, and, and how much he loves what he's doing and the product.
Yeah. Just amazing.
Anything else you guys want to say about this Barbarian before we grab the next fig?
Well, I'm in love with like the chest armor and the belt, that whole combination there, and in that collar, it just looks like, I was saying last night, it looks like iron. It looks like it's like really heavy, but this guy looks badass. Excuse me, said it again. Enough that he can carry it around with him.
Yeah.
No, it's so
I guess
good.
we're drawing more attention to it by calling it out when we say it, huh? If we just said it.
I think ass is fine on the show.
Yeah.
We just don't want to drop any F-bombs.
Don't worry.
We can help it.
Everyone here is an ass fan. No problem.
That should be the title of the episode.
I said it's always the little details that spring out. I look at that beard and I look at the little beads in it, and I'm like, that's each one of those. That's 10 kills per bead. That's how he adds those,
Yeah.
And like I said, it's super subtle, and you don't even catch it right away because obviously you look at that helmet, and again, it's just beautiful.
It's a painter's dream. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, man, I just want to get my hands on it and add some stuff
there's
to it.
a lot of little nooks and crannies for different paint colors in there.
Yep.
A lot of options for you there.
That's one thing I could say applies to every figure in this line, is that when I was working with Sherry and Cameron to get these figures painted up, usually I give them, I'll write out a sheet with a rundown of at least a general sense of what the colors should be. And it's been a while since we've done Legion Builders, so it was very strange to come in and just write a flesh tone, an armor color, a horn color, and a beard or whatever. Usually it's like a page and a half long. And it was killing me on these figures, especially with these new heads, to not go in and just paint these things out, fully detailed and all that. Because they're just begging for the paint, but at the same time, I think that's part of what the success of this particular wave is that they're figures that normally would, with the new heads and everything, like, these builds are strong enough where we would have, we could have done these as fully named characters with bios and full paint schemes and all that. But instead they're $26 Legion builders, with that much new personality and new parts to it.
These are not going to be figures that people are quantity one of. The people are going to go in and buy these by the 4s and 5s.
Yeah, we've already seen evidence of that. We're really happy with not just the response to them on the show last night and the positivity, but also so far the initial sales at the launch, even though this is a pre-order, the sales of all these have been really good already so far. So Yeah, we're very encouraged by this. That this definitely won't be the last deluxe Legion builder wave you'll see.
Awesome. All right, what do we got next, Cody?
Oh gosh.
Dark Templar.
Oh my gosh. I got to tell you guys, every once in a while I get this little thing in the back of my brain that says, maybe you don't need to spend so much on toys. And then you come out with something like this whole line, but this figure alone, to me, I saw that and my jaw literally dropped.
He was going to call you beautiful bastards, and then he decided not to. But you can say bastard because it has ass in it, so that's acceptable. This guy rolls into Monty Python and cuts everybody's limbs off. This is just amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And again, remember, I'm seeing all this for the first time today, guys.
You are?
Yeah, due to my job, I was tied up yesterday, so I'm seeing all these for the first time right now, which is super exciting.
Your job as a stand-up comic? You were tied up doing some comedy last night?
I wish it would have been that simple, and I wouldn't have been nearly as stinky when I got home. So,
as soon as I saw the paints on this guy, I knew that this was going to be a really popular one. That people were really going to dig this guy. He's like the antithesis of our previous released Templar Knights.
Yeah.
And man, you look at even just these first two figures. You know, Eric talked about how it's so hard to not want to paint, but man, less is best, and this is demonstrating exactly why.
Yeah, this is an example of that, definitely.
Yeah,
it still has a decent amount of paint on it, but it's all the shades are very subtle.
Yep. Yeah.
Eric, I like that saying the snake eyes aspect of it. Sometimes simple is pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
And
the original concept behind this line is that they were going to be, it's all about the Legion building. So I think in our original, back when we were considering this line to be a 3 3/4 inch line, they were going to be almost zero paint figures. So the sculpting was always meant to, be covered in detail and sculpted in a way where it created a lot of highlights and shadows and things like that, to where you wouldn't need the paint. And now we have the luxury of putting a tremendous amount of paint on a lot of these figures, but this just goes back to show that the original concept, had some credibility to it. It still works this far into the line. It doesn't feel like you're being shortchanged by not getting the paint on the figure.
I think one of the coolest. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One of my favorite things about this figure is how well the pauldrons and the hip guards on him they work so well with those new head pieces. It looks like it was always meant to be.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm excited to see. I like how you guys have the note about there being builders. They don't have bios, and that's another. I can't wait to start seeing the pictures of what people are doing and the backstories they're going to give them and the names they're going to give them. And this is going to breed a whole new level of creativity throughout the community, especially with all the great customizers and the great photographers. And it's going to be cool to see what comes out of this.
We hope so. That's one of the main reasons for us doing this line is people have been clamoring for more Legion builders for a long time now, and the Evergreen Legion builders. And because of COVID, we kind of got off track being able to do that. But now we announced it last night, and we'll reiterate here today, is that as we're going into production with this deluxe Legion builders wave, we're also going to start the production on the Evergreen Legion builders. They're not up for pre-order, but they're going to be in-store horsemen once all this stuff ships to us and stuff. And we're going to try to have those in the store perpetually, so people can go in at any time and just buy a couple Legion builders and use them for their customs.
Well, we're going to have to come up with something new to talk about on the Cabal, because that's a hot topic. When are the in-store stuff coming? That's going to be incredible for people to be able to jump on and go, you know what, I need just one more of these to fill this shelf out, or I need 2 of these to go behind this custom I just built, and be able to just jump on, clickety click, and X amount of days later they show up to their door. That's going to be huge.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. We've been talking about it for a long time now, and we've finally gotten to a point where we can put those in there and actually send them into production. And we'll just keep, every time we put a new wave into production, we'll put some of those back in there too, and kind of replenish the store.
Awesome.
I can easily tell you that one of my biggest regrets with this line was that in that first Kickstarter, I did not load up on the Silver Knights, and I actually did get the dwarfs and the skeletons. But at the time, I just, I was trying to just pick what I was going to do, and I easily could say that was my biggest regret. I wish I had 6 to 26 of those Silver Knights.
Yeah.
And now the talk that, there is a chance that some of these things are going to come back around does make me very, very happy.
The Silver Knight has definitely been the most requested of all the Legion builders that we've done so far. So he'll definitely be part of the first group of Legion builders that we release as evergreen Legion builders.
I love the price point too, because for what I'm paying in my dice subscriptions per month, I can get 2 of these figures per month.
Yeah.
If I'm willing to give up my dice subscription.
Because of production costs, the regular Legion builders, right now, we sell them at $22. They will be going up just a couple dollars maybe. So they will be slightly more expensive than they are now. But these guys, they're only slightly more expensive than a Legion builder, and they're less expensive than the standard Mythic Legions figure. And, you're going to be able to army build with these at, pretty low cost. So we're happy that the costs from the factories, at least the preliminary costs that have come back, have been pretty good to allow us to do this with these.
Awesome.
Are you going to announce what Legion builders, the regular Legion builders, are going to be in stock? Or are you just going to show up at the store and surprise us?
We're going to, we were just going to have it show up at the store, but I've seen so many different requests on different types of Legion builders. I think we're going to do a poll type thing and let everybody, it's not going to be a pre-order, but we're going to do a poll and let everybody decide the Legion builders they would like to see in the store first. We're not going to release them all at once. And then we'll probably go that route.
Did you guys ever contemplate maybe just asking the 4th Horseman what those figures should be? Not the 4th Horseman, but the 4th Horseman. So, I mean, I just, for the sake of, it might be kind of fun to do something like that.
It might be kind of fun. It might be a pain in the butt. I guess it could say ass.
You guys' business model never ceases to amaze me, because I think most people just go, hey, here's what we're giving you. You guys let people have input and reach out to people. And to me, it's what creates this community. It's a huge part of it. But the fact that you guys just keep doing that, along with the fact that you're selling these figures at this price, which is, just a little bit more than what a Marvel Legend is going to cost you, to me, that either one, you guys are really caring, or you're definitely have some mental problems.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We've been fans. I mean, we're action figure fans ourselves. We've been collectors and fans as long as, since I was little. So I kind of know what fans go through when they deal with action figures and action figure companies. But we've had this thought from the very beginning, even back when we were at McFarlane Toys. We would listen to what fans say, and as much as we were capable of, we would incorporate those thoughts into the work we were doing. Now, obviously, we have a specific vision and a specific direction for the lines of figures that we're doing, so we can't take every suggestion, but we definitely listen to them, and the ones that we think that are viable suggestions, we definitely include in. We were just talking about, what was it? I forget what it was, but the Fantastic Exclusive was a big example of that, where we were trying to include fans into the voting rounds, where you would choose like different aspects of an action figure, and then we would go and produce that figure. Yeah, I mean, us having fans involved in what we do is it's always been important to us.
Yeah, we appreciate that for sure. I still think you're crazy, but real quick, I want to echo Jared Colby's comment. He said, "Thank God that the 3 3/4 plan did not happen." Yeah,
I add that to my prayers every night.
I'm so glad you guys went to 6 inches.
Well, I think we are too. That was we've talked about it a little bit before. That was a decision that we actually really struggled with at the time. But ultimately, just we looked at all of the pros and cons, and what our larger fan base, through Masters of the Universe and things, outside of just what we had done in house, looked like, and it just and also combined with the numbers, just the factory numbers. And I don't doubt very seriously Mythic Legions would still be around at this point if we had done it at that size. I just don't think the numbers just didn't support moving forward that way. And so I think we're probably more thankful than anybody that we changed the scale on it.
Well, and Jared made another great comment too. 4-H transparency alone makes this line an actual joy to collect, and the community is chef's kiss, which I think is this.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. We've always said one of the best and worst parts, the best part for us and the worst part for you is your guys' ability and willingness to interact with the fans. You put yourselves out there to take a bunch of SHIT from the fans because of what you do, and you put yourself out there. How many times a day does Corn Boy get tagged in a post because somebody says, "Where's my shipping notice? My pelvis is weird. I got a gummy belt. I didn't," and somebody goes, "Oh, I'll tag Eric because that's the nice thing to do. We'll let him jump on and try to answer this guy's question." And you guys do it gracefully, and you take care of business, and you keep coming back and doing more for the fans and more polls and more questions. And it's all fan service. And, you guys have been working hard, and you've been, like you said, talking for a year to get these evergreen builders out. And so you start out with some Kick ASS deluxe builders that everybody can get their hands on for a crazy stupid price. $6 more than what you're getting a Marvel Legend off the shelf at Walmart. And then that's going to build into those evergreen figures. And it's just awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Well, like I said, we're fans too. So we kind of get what the fan community goes through with this stuff. I mean, I was a 3A collector, and if anybody out there has collected that stuff, sometimes that was rough collecting 3A. Their sales were like much faster and more brutal than ours are. And now I'm a big Mezco 1/12 collective fan, and you guys, I mean, you've dealt with their sales, and it's tough to get those sometimes. I've missed out on a few recently because the sales are so tough. And so we understand, coming from a fan perspective, what it's like to have to deal with toy companies, and we try to alleviate that as much as possible. The popularity of Mythic Legions has made it so the in-stock sales have become a brutal battle, but we're doing things, as you might have seen with recent in-stock sales, to alleviate that somewhat. We've moved to a better store platform for that. We're doing a weekly sale where we're doing limited amounts of things, or sometimes weekly when Chris is not too swamped with other things to do, because he's our utility man who does everything. and those we're putting some figures up and then holding them back till another sale at a later date, and then putting some of those back in again. So even if you miss some of those figures during those in-stock sales, hopefully you'll get a chance later on where they'll roll around again. You'll get another chance at them. So we kind of understand what fans have to deal with it every day, and we're as transparent as we can possibly be. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you guys never hear about, and stuff that we're never allowed to talk about legally, and from signing NDAs and things like that. But yeah, we always like being as transparent as we possibly can and keeping the fans involved as much as we can.
Well, that's why we love you.
Absolutely. What do you got next over there, Cody? I got to agree with Master Hoarder. A 4-foot Tiamat would go great with some of these figures.
Oh, this guy.
Well, it won't specifically be Tiamat, but we still do have plans to do a gigantic, massive, monstrous dragon at some point. It's just finding the time and where to fit it in, and asking for people to spend the money that would need to be spent on something like that in order to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, poor Travis may only be able to get 6 instead of 10. So,
but I also
gotta tell you that that Hasbro Sentinel figure, I regret not buying that thing. $350 is a big chunk of change, but that thing is amazing. But what I'm hoping for is that I've let that one slide, and they're going to do a Galactus figure, and then I'll be all over that one. So I get the hunger for those big, massive figures. Eric just pointed out a little while ago, I have a big, giant King Kong here that like even dwarfs our big, huge troll figures. So I love big, scary figures.
Well, I do think too that seeing that people are willing to what they're willing to pay for Snake Mountain. For the Sentinel, for the Barge, I think that there is a place for a big Mythic Legion showpiece, which it's easy to say that the trolls are already that, but I think you guys still would sell that very well.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
The deluxe dwarf.
So now
Legion
this
builder.
thing here, and I think this was said last night, but it doesn't look like a Legion builder. This looks like a full-fledged figure here with all the paint apps that seem to be going on here. Bravo, this is amazing.
Yeah, hands down. That the way those paint scheme works with sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. It's GD amazing. Man, that helmet, that beard, the horns, it just everything, man. This figure is so cool. I'd be like, this guy's gonna kill me, and you know what? I'm okay with it. So just bring on the sweet death.
The scraggly mustache and like the beard just under the bottom lip there, going into the nicely braided beard underneath. That's my favorite part of the head on this one. That's perfect.
Is there like fur around his neck, or is that his beard? Oh, that's his beard, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Look at the little hair, little hair is kind of out of place and sticking out, and man, this is beautiful.
And Eric modeled the beard of this guy after himself. He's got a few hairs out of place there too.
He's one of those. He's one of those good-looking guys where you're kind of like pissed off, like, really? He gets to be good-looking and talented. It's just not fair. It's like when you see a hot doctor, you're like, you son of a bitch. That's not fair. Man, this is it. It's just amazing. Just amazing.
The dwarf collectors seem to be I wouldn't say few, because they sell well, but out of all the figures that we do, the dwarves are some of the lower sellers. But
they're some of the loudest fans.
Yes, the fans are definitely the most vocal. They are definitely the most passionate and vocal fans of the Mythic Legions collectors.
Which is funny, because there's actually a dwarf in my D&D group, and every time there's a dwarf, they are loud and obnoxious and in your face. It all lines up, man.
Yeah, it's because they're perpetually drunk.
Right.
The collectors, not the dwarves.
Right, yeah. Right.
I remember when I was trying to hook a friend on the line, and he was all in, but he didn't want to buy the dwarfs because in his mind he goes, well, it's half the figure for the same price. The funny thing is when he finally eventually got a dwarf, I remember he said to me, he goes, "Man, I was a complete idiot."
It's just that some of the parts are smaller. Everything is there that's on a regular figure. They're just a little bit squashed in certain areas. That's it. And I kind of thought that would be some of the perception with the goblins too, because not only are they smaller, but they're even thinner than this guy. And I thought people would be complaining that, oh, this is a smaller figure, so I should pay less for it. Let me tell you, these little guys don't cost any less for us to produce. So
right. Man, that's awesome.
It's so funny. I wouldn't have used that. I wouldn't have thought to use that axe for a dwarf. It looks like an elven axe to me, probably because I think it was included in the elven pack, weapons pack. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's awesome. You know, sometimes I have these mental constraints that are there, and then they break them, and I'm like, well, yeah, that was, why didn't I see that before?
Yeah.
And we had a friend a long time ago that said it all comes together in the paint, and we kind of joke about that. And sometimes it's actually true. So I mean, when you see something like this painted in a certain way, even though it was originally designed for something else, it kind of falls into place.
I mean, that's the same axe I think that comes with Thalen Frostbow, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, and it looks good in a female figure's hands. It's very delicate and beautiful, and you got this straggly dwarf with a well-groomed beard, and it's amazing as well.
Well, and what's funny to me is I look at this and it makes perfect sense. If I were to go back and look at the Thalen Frostbow, I might go, that axe is too big. But the lore behind dwarves, that hammer and that axe, that's their thing, you know. And like I said, that's the D&D. Playing D&D has only made me love these figures that much more, man. And especially starting to understand, especially, you know, the lore behind the dwarves and their backstory. And I mean, just freaking spot on, man. All right, Cody, what do we got next?
Oh.
This is going to be Stevens, the half-naked guy. He's
God, yes.
Right?
When you're so tough, you don't even need shoes.
I mean, why would anyone wear a shirt if they had abs like that?
I don't wear a shirt with the lack of abs I have now.
Oh, man. I have great abs under this fat. But,
man. So the Deluxe Gladiator Legion builder.
Did we lose Eric? I think we lost Eric.
Uh-oh.
Well, he probably knew that this shirtless guy was coming on. He goes, I really don't need to watch three dudes drool over a...
Got him.
He's coming back. There he is.
That's everything the Gladiator fans wanted in a figure. It's got the bare chest. It's got the kick ASS helmet. It's got that bad ASS shoulder pauldron, the spear, the shield. I mean, it's just, it is. Deluxe is right. Deluxe is a great way to describe that figure. But it's another one that, to Steven's point about the dwarf, that's another one that you could name, that you could give a bio. You could talk about his tournament victories, and
he's amazing right out of the box. And I love him. I prefer him I love the fact that you're giving us both. I prefer him with the bare feet, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But having both is just an amazing touch.
Right, especially if you want to get real creative in one shoe and not one shoe.
Yeah,
you know,
you want to look like his shoe came off during battle.
I was battling so hard I lost a shoe.
Or maybe he got a rock in it and he really had to take it off because it was hurting his foot.
You ever tried to battle with a rock in your shoe?
No,
impossible.
I haven't, but it seems
impossible.
He's got one gloved hand and one ungloved hand, so why not just swap it on the feet, and then he's a little bit more symmetrical, maybe.
I took care of a woman the other day that was on the side of the road crawling around her car with only one shoe on, absolutely hammered. It reminds me of her. Where's your other shoe? We don't know. It was in the glove compartment. We found it.
Wow.
But what was great is it didn't match, and it was another left shoe. So can't make that stuff up. That's a true story. So
wow.
I think back to how popular the Coliseum wave was. And continues to be, obviously, with how expensive some of those figures are. And to me, I think this is just genius. You know, you keep capturing that and adding parts and pieces that really just make everything about this line so cool.
Man, you put him with Vetus, Romulus, Clavius, Vetus, and put this guy with it. I mean, come on, it's good. It's just going to be an amazing display.
Hey, Cody, would you give us an up close of the helmet and pauldron again, please?
Yeah, that pauldron, that's got to be shown up close. The helmet too. I mean, it's just.
Oh. A lot of comments on that pauldron in the comments this morning.
Awesome.
And man, that is just amazing.
That guy walks out and you're immediately scared. And that the new strap that's on his
love it.
His other shoulder and everything, that's
well, we've talked about in the past, it's been brought up when referring to armor and how some of the characters have mismatched, and with the goblins, it's they just kind of steal and they take whatever they can get, and this looks like the guy. Well, yeah, the last person he defeated had this helmet, so he decided to take their helmet, and now he's fighting with that helmet because it was better than the one he had, and just endless backstory.
So cool,
so good. All right, Cody, fire us off the next one. Deluxe Goblin. Oh, look at those! What are those, scimitars? Technically, no,
they're blades. They were originally with one of the. I think they were the elf weapons pack, but they also clip together, so you make one long blade.
Oh, ugly, mean.
Like Mythic Legion's version of Darth. What was his name? Darth
Maul.
Darth Maul. Yeah.
Darth.
Man. So good.
The head on this is amazing. Just it fits in perfect with the rest of the goblins because of, to me, what they have is just this really fun little evil character in each of their face sculpts, and that's exactly what I see with this head.
Yeah, it's tough to notice, but he has a nose underneath that helmet. It's kind of hidden in shadow a little bit there. It's this tiny little nose, and Eric kind of explained the design on this last night.
Got a very samurai-ish helmet, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I can see
that. I'm seeing that. I'm feeling that. Looks grumpy. I love it.
I love that you guys put him on the dwarf torso. Right? That's a dwarf. He's got a dwarf body.
Yeah, that's a dwarf body.
Yeah.
We've the goblins are normally the little thin guys, except for Gonks.
Yep.
We thought this guy, Eric, owns a pug, and he kind of designed it to look like a pug this time. So
holy SHIT, that looks like a pug. Now that you say that, that is so pug-like.
Yeah, there you go. See his little tiny nose hidden there?
Yeah. That's awesome.
And the plates that are on the pug nose, the goblin, the plates that you see on the side of the helmet, close to the back of the helmet. Oh, Eric just texted me. My connection is terrible. Not sure how I'm looking on your end.
You look great,
good.
buddy.
Can you hear us, Eric?
You look sexy.
I don't think you can hear.
I can hear you at times.
But
it's going in and out like crazy.
Yeah, on our end, you look fine.
Yeah.
But tell him a little bit about the design of his head and the plates on his helmet.
Yeah, so if you look at those plates on the side there, they look fairly integrated with the helmet, but they're actually separate pieces from the helmet. And so there's openings in the sides of the helmet so that we can use this helmet in the future with other goblin designs where we can have the ears poking out. So this head design here, although it's unique in its design for what you're seeing here, it's also going to be interchangeable with future goblin heads. So there's kind of going to be like a little mini system of interchangeable heads and headgear.
Awesome. Fan service at its finest, man.
So a question that people had last night was whether the helmet is removable. And it's not currently removable the way it's built. The face part of the head is a separate piece from the helmet, but it's not literally just a removable helmet that you can pop on somebody else.
Lovely.
Another. You guys killed it again. All right,
Thanks.
Cody.
That's going to look so cool when we have, the original Goblin builders, which were the skinnier guys, and then you got these big bruisers maybe sitting in the back. It would just, it's going to look.
Deluxe skeleton, please.
This one got a lot of people pumped, including myself. I love that armor. That is, and like, I've only had a chance to play around with my Aether. Did that come on Aether? That the shoulder pauldrons, or is that?
No, it came on Vorthog.
Yeah, Vorthog.
Yeah.
Okay.
That great looking orc.
This reminds me of that, and I hate to say this, but
is it Megadeth?
well, no, I wasn't thinking of that. That does too, but no, you're thinking Iron Maiden, I think.
Iron Maiden, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, that reminds me of where the Joker becomes Batman and has that weird spiked helmet,
The Joker who smiled or something.
Yeah, yep.
The Batman who laughed. That's what it is.
Yeah, yep. Oh, it opens.
Yep.
Oh man.
I was waiting for Cody to find that picture.
God.
The jaw's articulated too.
Not only does it open, but it's a new skeleton head from you guys that maybe has the most amount of detail I've ever seen in my life on a toy.
It is a legit skull. That is an anatomical skull, and it is.
Yeah, look in the eye sockets and in the nose socket there, all the detail that's going on in there.
Yeah.
Eric really outdid himself with this one.
It's always fun sculpting a skull. Like that's ever since even just being a kid, like that drawing and sculpting skulls, it never gets old.
And I totally get what you mean by that, but I also have to say I would have to think that the level of difficulty when you're sculpting something that is completely Eric Treadaway, just out of your head, off the paper into the world, there's a lot less pressure than if you're sculpting something that is immediately recognizable to everybody who's on the planet. A skull, everybody knows what a skull looks like, or everybody thinks they know what a skull should look like. There's got to be an added level of pressure to get that right or as correct as possible in something that's so, vastly recognizable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why, you look across the toy industry, and that's why, doing a human likeness is so hard.
Right.
Or a human face, even for that matter, because, everybody knows what a human face looks like, and and more so knowing what it looks like, instantly when it's wrong.
Right.
And the skull, of course we've got a little more leeway with a skull, because if you look at actually go and look at reference for skulls, the shapes of skulls vary as much as a human face does. So
right.
This is a more drawn out, thin looking skull, whereas the tibia skull is a more boxy type shape.
This is Ted Danson. Right here.
I don't know if I'll ever think of this figure the same way again.
Somebody referred to it as Judge Dead. That's pretty funny.
That is a good one.
Not a bad thing.
Oh, so good.
Man.
Treadaway, after I obviously, our love for CB is, it's obvious we got problems, but you got any interest in hot tubbing?
Interest in hot tubbing?
He's going to pretend like it cut out.
Just say no. Don't get in Travis's hot tub.
It could be magical.
You can here's the deal. You can come to Michigan and you can go to Travis's hot tub and do the walk of shame the next morning. Or you can go 10 miles.
You guys get Eric in your hot tub. Make sure you got a good hair filter. Looking like a freaking gorilla.
One of those guys that takes off his t-shirt, but he's still wearing a sweater vest.
A very patchy one.
Let me ask you this, Travis. If Eric were to call you and say, "Hey, I want to come over tonight and be in your hot tub," would you tell him no?
No,
like
of
you
course
did me
not.
last night?
Of course not.
Son of a gun.
You have a hot tub. Why would you not get in your own?
Oh,
hot
I didn't
tub?
want to go to his hot tub. I just wanted to come over and visit.
Oh, okay.
He's like, no.
I've got about 2 weeks left. I only get invited once every other month. I got about 2 weeks left, and then I get another invite.
Actually, I was invited. And
You
then
all were.
I called. I said, I don't think I can make it. And then last night, I'm like, hey, I can make it. Wait, no, absolutely, you stay home.
Isn't the rule no clothes in the hot tub, Trav?
It's not quite a rule, but it's definitely recommended.
It's not enforced.
That's
No,
right.
Wearing clothes is just frowned upon socially.
You're an officer of the law. How could you not just naturally enforce that?
Right. Well, why would you want to wear a bathing suit in a hot tub? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
He enforces it by he just doesn't invite you anymore, which is where I'm at.
You keep saying that, but you literally were invited. Everybody in this room pretty much was invited.
No, not to the hot tub. We're talking hot tub.
Well, my house. If you come to my house, you're going in the hot tub.
Truth.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the next figure, even though I don't want to. Oh my gosh.
Half giant.
Genius idea.
Man.
Yeah, we did the Ogre Legion builder back when we first released the Ogre scale figures, and Bolthor was part of that, but he was the standard Ogre scale figure at a higher price, so we wanted to give people a chance to be able to customize their Ogre figures and get them for a decent price as well. So this is the deluxe half giant Legion builder.
$40.
As a reseller, I just was at King County, quite possibly the biggest toy show in the world, and
I want to go there sometime.
You guys have to. It's just an amazing show. With that said, the Legion builder, when I'm selling these at shows, the Legion builder sells just as high as Kurzog. Not both ours has gone up there. But people want these basic figures, and Steve's a great example. I don't even know how many of these you painted.
A lot.
Yeah.
So many that I don't have any in my case anymore.
Right.
Because I keep pulling them out of my case and painting them, and then I open another one and put it in my case, and I pull that one out and I paint it.
So you guys are giving, like Pete said, you're giving people the chance to jump in at this very low cost on such a beautiful figure. And then the reality of it is the customizers. I mean, I'm going to be the guy that has two to four of these standing behind the tower. But I'm also going to get two painted by Steve, probably. It's a great opportunity for especially new people coming in line and us old collectors as well.
And they're great because you can paint them and I don't have to wear my magnifying glass thing because they're big enough I can still see.
Well, and it's and obviously the focus of the show isn't third party, but with the third party stuff that's out there, you guys keep giving people platforms in order to, even help support that third party to a certain extent, because they can grab a different chess piece or a different pauldron and they can throw that onto your figure. And you guys are giving everybody these foundations for these incredible customs. And I mean, $40 for that. I mean, that's laughable. $40 for that figure. I mean, I kind of get a chuckle out of that. I can't believe that's so cheap. And people are going to get their hands on it. They're going to go nuts. And you guys are going to sell a ton of these figures and you're going to make the money that you deserve. And you didn't have to do it you didn't gouge anybody. You threw it out there for a great price. And like I said, people are going to buy 2 and 3 of these instead of one at 65. They're going to buy 2 at 40. And man, these things are going to fly off the shelves.
Yeah, I think we could definitely bump the price up on these and people would still buy them. Maybe not in as large quantities, but I think people would still buy them. But that's not really our focus on this line. Our focus is getting as many of these into hands of collectors as we can while still being able to have a business and making some money off of the business. And this is a good example of that. This character, we could probably sell him for $50 or $60 and make a good chunk of change off of each one of them for ourselves. But we're more interested in making sure fans get the figures that they want to get.
Right, and if you sell 10 of them at $40 or 4 of them at $100, it's still $400.
Yeah.
That the reason Walmart is as big as it is because of what it does. There's a lot of truth to that philosophy of the lower price point and selling a higher quantity, and like I said, plus you're doing all the fans a solid.
Yeah, and it allows us to, we look at the line, in we're looking at the big picture with the line. And so doing Legion builders and, doing an ogre scale Legion builder like this at a lesser price, it offsets the cost and also allows us to do figures like, some of the items in the Alithia wave, where you're doing, a centaur that's a high ticket item, or even Alithia type figures where they're deluxe figures, and we can put out a cheaper wave like this. Then that gives people the opportunity to come in and later on buy a more expensive wave like that, and and of course for the way we look at it is it allows us to make more characters and flesh out the world more. So it's, luckily for I guess, everybody, both us and the fans, like it's worked out well having this mix of affordable builder items with the like fully deluxe intricate pieces like a ogre scale or troll or the horses now, things like that.
Before we move on, I've opened a lot of ogres, ogre scale figures, and I've not run into a whole lot of the hip issue, but I wanted to ask you guys, is that, a lot of people are loud about that, but I don't know how prevalent it really is. Is that something that you think is getting blown out of proportion, or is it?
In my experience, I've opened a bunch of these as well, and I've messed around with the hips to try to figure out what the issue is. And the construction is odd on these, but what you have to do is both hips move together, and one of them moves separately if you're holding on to the other hip. So you move the hips forward or backward together into the position you want it, and then you move the other one where you need it. And then you can kind of adjust it and everything. I've had no issues with it. I haven't had any breakage. I know people have said it looks like the plastic in there is
stressed,
getting stressed, and it might be, but we haven't had too many people complaining about breakage there. So as long as it's not breaking, you can get it into the right pose. But I've not had an issue with it. Even after people started complaining about the hips this time, Chris opened up a bunch to try to figure out what they were talking about, and he's in talks with the factory. He did, from the last round of ogres we did, he had them going in there and adding a little bit of like a grease, like a lubricant to those hips. But we can't do it too much because they're so top heavy that the hips will no longer hold them up if we make that too loose or grease it up too much. But so far, I understand that people are having issues with it, but maybe it's a matter of they're not quite certain how the legs move separately and everything.
Yeah, I know the other day, earlier this week when I was in the office, because apparently it's happening more with the Equidron figures than the past releases, from what I'm seeing. And he had figures laid out all over the table, that he had pots of boiling water. We're putting stuff in freezers. He's cutting pieces apart. So we're this is a format that is going to move forward. So, we're really trying to figure out what the solution is for people who already have the figures, as far as what the combination of, do you do heat? Do you put a little, little oil or lubricant on it? So we're trying to figure out what to tell people is the safe way to move forward with it. But at the same time, from my perspective, I also want to make sure we're looking at long term, and do we retool those hips? Do we switch the articulation style to more of like a Marvel Legends, like with the barbell pop socket hips. So it's something that we are actively trying to figure out, not only what the fix is now for people who have a figure that has a problem, but also how to, really permanently get rid of that problem in figures moving forward.
Another big reason that the Horsemen are who they are.
Exactly.
It would have been very easy to go, yeah, sorry about your bad luck, here's a new figure, and just be done with it. But there's another avenue of, okay, how do we keep these people quiet from making a stink about it? How do we fix it in the future? You guys are doing all of those things. You're looking at that problem from every different angle to try to make sure the best product is coming from your warehouse to our homes or to our vape shops where we hang them in bags on doorknobs. But like I said, that just it goes back to everything we've talked about. Maybe I'm beating a dead Ecuadron, but you guys are taking care of your people, and that's why we have. I mean, look at 34 people are being blasphemous this morning to be with us and not in church to see this. That's a big deal. So.
Well, thank you for everybody who's shown up for this today.
Hey, Cody, we got we got the weapons pack, or I'm sorry, the accessory pack.
Before we move on to that, the
Hold on,
older
Cody.
scale half giant Legion builder, those spikes that are on the sides of his helmet, those are separate pieces. So moving forward,
up on the helmet, Cody.
Moving forward,
we'll be able to replace that, like pop those spikes out and put other helmet adornments in, just like some of the other Legion builders.
Damn it!
The other Mythic Legions figures.
I want you guys to understand. Travis was in the shop on Friday and walked out with a Tahoe full of Marvel Legends and GI Joes, and I liquidated all of those figures for the simple fact that I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on Mythic Legions. These figures are that good. So,
wow,
man,
it's astounding to us the number of people we've heard saying that they've stopped collecting other figure lines and have started collecting only Mythic Legions. It's like a blessing to us, but it seems insane to me. But I'm kind of in the same boat. I kind of do the same thing sometimes. I get focused on one action figure line, and then everything else gets shoved aside for a while. And hopefully that lasts for a while with these, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, Cody, accessory pack.
This accessory pack
Yeah.
is
Now this
awesome.
photo is a little misleading because this accessory pack will not come with the figure itself. It just comes with the unusual new accessories you see on these, and these were all designed by the amazing Nate Barch and then sculpted by Eric.
Damn.
So
Are those the same antlers that are on the moose figure?
No. People asked about that last night, and they're not. These are slightly smaller, but we showed images of all these parts next to a standard Mythic Legions figure. They're still really large, but they're not quite as big as the one on Alder, the moose.
Man, are there individual photos? Can you scroll down, Cody? Yeah, will you pull up start with the antlers and the head? Yeah, like that. Oh.
So the important thing to realize, and I think most Mythic Legion fans know, you buy the Legion builder, you put these parts on them, and that's how you create this figure that you're seeing here.
Yes.
Right. But that accessory pack would be good. You could buy 3 and have something to have 3 different figures.
How many? Got 2 horn options right there.
How many you buying, Steve?
Of these?
Yeah.
Oh, I want 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
I mean, I want 10.
Yeah.
I'll probably
He'll probably order 10.
Right.
Maybe 10. Depends if Travis will
shoulder pauldrons and a belt. Oh man, those shoulder pauldrons are great.
I will say that I love this idea, guys. This fact of just putting out a $25 piece like this, and I think you guys know that customizers are a huge part of driving this line. And easily, to me, this is like a no-brainer.
Oh, and I just noticed that it comes with the head as well.
Yeah.
It's not okay. That's
so
awesome.
I said there's 2
comes
different
with
horn
the
options.
head, the horn additions for the helmet, the antler additions for the helmet, the pauldrons, the chest or belt strap, the big hammer, and the gigantic, enormous shield.
Are those goat heads on that
Yes.
hammer? Can you go back to that hammer, Cody? Bring that up.
Are they yak heads or something?
It's a wildebeest.
Wildebeest.
Oh, man.
Wildebeest.
That is freaking. That is so evil. I love that.
And I mean, you know, huge shout out to Nate on this. Like, you know, Nate is. We have a few people like this that we work with in different arenas of what we do, where Nate is we can hand him something off and he can pick up exactly where we leave off with no instruction. You know, like we asked him to draw up an ogre scale accessory pack, and he came back with it, and you know, we didn't have to touch it. All we had to do was sculpt it. Like he just gets, you know, our style, our thought process, the fact that, you know, we need to be able to paint these up a few different ways and get different effects out of it. And, you know, you look at these, like I was talking about it last night with the pauldrons, like those pauldrons, we could paint those 5 different ways and they could look like they're for different factions, different races. The shield, you know, we can, you know, that can look like a heroic shield or it can look like an evil shield, depending on,
right,
you know, how we address the colors on it. And, you know, I could say the same for the hammer as well.
Now that hammer, that handle is a similar handle that you guys have used before, right?
Yes, it's the same. So it's interchangeable with the, you know, any existing handles that you get.
Do the tusks? Can the tusks come out of the shield?
Well, currently on the prototype, yes. I believe that they're going to be packaged separately. So I'm not sure yet. From, you know, a production standpoint, if that's going to be a one-time assembly, or if you're going to be able to you know, pop them in and out. You know, from again, I've said this on a couple of the pieces in this wave. You know, I'm sure a customizer could pull them out. But yeah, whether or not it's going to be easily poppable remains to be seen, because it's, you know, with it being a shield, you've only got so much material behind the tusks. So I don't know if it's going to be something where it's you know, it's going to require some, you know, some sort of a different mushroom to get it popped in tightly.
Eric, do you have still have the paint masters there with you?
Yeah.
Or did you pack them up?
No, I still have.
Can you hold the shield up next to one of the standard figures so they can see the mass on this thing?
Hey, Cody, will you bring up Treadaway as big as you can? He's going to hold some up to his camera.
Nope, wrong one.
There we go. All right, so there's, actually, I'll pull them back a little bit. So regular figure, and then there's the shield taking up about as much space as his entire head and torso. And just also, and this shows why the tusks will be removable. There's a lot of depth to this as well, which, you know, we're doing some shields like this now and upcoming where rather than just being a you know, just a flat shield, we're giving a lot more dimension to these shields. You would see that type of thing a lot on like a lot of the old Dungeons and Dragons designs, where they would do these shields with crazy faces coming off of them, or, you know, like really like domed shapes on the shields. And it just, there's something about that added dimension that rather than just having that flat plane against a figure, now you've got tusks coming out. And, I just think back to just, and I was taking sculpture classes in school, and just, there's a lot of talk about, just very basic sculptural form. And, you want to be able to look at a piece in the round where this, it looks as good from the side as it does the front or from the back. And so doing things like that, where you've got these, sculptural details going off in every dimension, just kind of plays into that, that just a basic principle of working in 3D form.
I can't wait for these crazy people to get a hold of this stuff. And they've got a Bolthar holding this shield up, and there's a goblin impaled on the tusk of the shield. I mean, people are going to go nuts. All of that on the website there that we were just at, all those photos. Who did all the photos for you guys?
That was Trevor Williams.
Okay. He's watching, and I was pretty sure it was him. I wanted to make sure. 1-6 shooter, man. Always takes care of business.
Him and Nate, both, again, good examples of us surrounding ourselves with people far more talented in their tasks than we are, and really doing a bang-up job for us on this stuff. We're so fortunate to be able to surround ourselves with people like that.
We're literally trying to copy you guys' business model between Cody and Hobby Lobby, and we actually have Nate Strong sitting in with us right now, who is a beautiful photographer. We're trying to surround ourselves in our little Michigan world with people just like you guys.
Not a photographer, he's a photographer.
He's a photographer because that's English.
I love you, Travis. So adorable.
Honestly, he's one of the best pohotographers I've ever seen. He's really good. So, but.
So everything that you guys just saw, if you add up all the costs of it, it's $221. But if you get it, that's if you buy them all separately. But we're doing the all-in deal that we always do, and you can get all of it for $200 even. So it's nearly a free figure if you buy the all-in.
Or free accessory pack, whatever. I mean, that's awesome.
And Nate brought up, he's sitting here next to us. He brought up that there's people posting their purchase on the Cabal now, saying spending $2,000 plus on this wave. And that's the first day that you guys revealed it.
Yeah. There's a whole month. It's going till May 31st at 9 p.m. So there's a whole month to get on board, but we really appreciate everybody who's gotten on board already, because that just gives us some encouragement that this wave's going to do well, and that this is going to be a model that we'll have to go back to later on and release even more of this Deluxe Legion Builder wave kind of stuff.
$2,000. That's 10 all-ins.
Worth it,
man. That's so good.
I got something that we probably should address real quick, and Curtis Ackerman brought it up. He said, "Is it true that Jim isn't here today because he couldn't stand to talk to Steven?"
I thought Jim and Steven buried the hatchet.
No, I think we're good.
I think Jim wants to bury the hatchet in Steven's skull, but yeah.
What's even better is William White then comments and says, "Hey, but both Steve and Jim like greased up torsos."
We do. A greased up torso sounds like probably the best thing you guys should do that immediately.
Jim will definitely be part of the next LegionsCast. He just wasn't able to make this morning's episode.
And we've got hopefully some other things to talk about too that'll be new and exciting on that next episode that I think a lot of people are excited about. The 6-foot-tall Tiamat dragon picture reveal. I'm just kidding. That's not a real thing yet. So
it's only 5 feet.
It's only 5 feet. I always embellish. Try to this is 6 inches. I get So
we've had a couple people asking, including Nate sitting next to us. Would you guys be willing to talk a little bit about that little sneak peek of that head that you showed?
Oh, the accident?
No, the accident, of course.
You're talking about. Yeah, our boss really railed us for that one. We shouldn't have done that.
Well, I imagine you guys' boss is probably a huge jerk, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, people are so excited for Cosmic. And I am too, but I also have this fear of what it's going to do to my wallet, and this other little minor fear that it's going to cause you guys to not put out as many mythics. What's the plan from that standpoint? Is it still full speed ahead with mythics, and Cosmic's going to be right on top of it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on Cosmic for a long time now, and I mean, it's probably had between 5 and 10 different launch dates over the years, or at least potential launch dates, and that really has been one of our biggest considerations with how and when we were going to launch the line, because we need to do it in a way where it's exciting and it's a big deal when we launch it, but at the same time, people are confident that it's not going to cut into Mythic in any way, and that's part of why having such a long lead time on this has been beneficial, because it's been being worked on while this wave was being worked on, while Alithia was being worked on, while Arethyr is being worked on. So if you feel like Mythic is up to speed now, it's we've been working on Cosmic while it's been going on. So at least from a development standpoint, it will not cut in at all. And from a release standpoint, I think now that we're to a point where we're getting back to a little bit more of a normal rhythm with the releases. We're releasing a little bit more frequently with Mythic. I don't think people are going to feel like there's any sort of a drain on Mythic at all. It's just a matter of, for us, we want to make a statement when Cosmic shows up, but we also we have to be careful about how to integrate it into the lineup and support it past the launch, without getting the balance off.
Are you
give them a little taste of that head now, Eric?
Yeah.
And pop the faceplate off for them too. They didn't get to see that last.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna go silent while you bring that up.
Cody,
Eric.
can you go big again on this for us?
Uh-oh, hold on.
Yeah, we'll get
You're
you.
okay.
We're coming.
There we go. So and then what we didn't show last night was that visor piece is a separate piece. And we've talked about this a bit with Cosmic. That visor piece will be this will be an ABS piece. It'll be a rigid ABS plastic, and so the type of things that's going to allow us that you didn't see, that you don't see as much of in Mythic, is we can do that in transparent colors and in clear.
Yeah.
With it
being an ABS, that means also we can use vacuum plating on it to do chromes and chrome color. So again, this thing you can get. If we could just paint this a solid color, it's got one look. We could do a transparent on it where you can see the mechanics on the inside. That's a different look. Put a chrome on it. That's a third look. And then you could do, probably, even do different variations amongst that as well. But that's, it's in some ways that's a minor addition to the line, but I think those differences in materials and finishes aside from just the subject matter, it will really set this apart as its own, its own separate line. And I love that kind of stuff, like those chromes and clears, thinking all the way back to, being very young, and getting Micronauts figures. And, they just had a great use of those different colors of chrome and, fully transparent figures. And, it screams sci-fi. It's like in sci-fi toy. And so there's a lot of, many years of cool sci-fi inspiration that's going to find its way into this line in interesting ways.
Curtis Ackerman just asked a really dumb question I want to share with you guys. Is the Comic Legion aesthetic going to be able to be displayed next to Mythic Legions without looking too out there? I know Motu combines sword, magic, and science. That is a great example of a terrible question, Curtis. We're not going to put a robotic space suit next to a goblin. So we'd appreciate if you would leave those kind of stupid questions out of the show. The Four Horsemen deserve better. So
I will answer that question though, because the Masters Universe comparison is a pretty relevant touch point for this, because I think what it comes down to is it comes down to what your perception of being too out there is, and especially since all the parts are cross compatible. Although maybe a cosmic figure right next to a mythic figure might be too much for you, but if you take those two figures and mix and match the parts, you might end up with something very Masters looking. So, and that's why with the way that we're approaching these is we're not going to do a space, like an orc figure with a space suit on, but because if you already have orc figures in your collection, you're going to have space armor in your collection. That's something that anybody can do. So we need to bring something new to the table that then you could also take a head from Cosmic and then put that on a mythic figure and then get something new there too. So
you couldn't help me slam him because he called me fat, huh? You couldn't just help me be mean to him? And I don't know why everybody talks about how fat I am. It's bullshit. But,
is that a zebra cake?
No, it's like a princess cake. It kind of tastes like a unicorn dick.
I can tell you, I cannot wait to put Nubnik's head on a space mech suit. Like, I just can't wait to do that. So I'm super excited about that part of this line.
Space goblins are what I'm looking forward to too.
Oh yeah, so excited. I will say as a guy that takes these to booths and sets them up, which I know you guys obviously do too. Every once in a while, I will get someone who comes across and says, "Man, I really love these, and I could tell they're great quality, but I'm not into like the fantasy genre, like D&D, that kind of stuff. That's not what I collect." And I'll be like, "Well, what do you buy?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm a sci-fi guy. Like, I like Star Wars. I like that kind of stuff." And then I'm like, in my mind, just going, "Oh my God, when Cosmic hits, this is about to get crazy."
We can only hope for half the response that Mythic Legions has gotten from fans, because if it's even half as good as Mythic Legions, it's gonna be big. We're excited for it.
We are too.
You talk about the stuff with the fans and people wearing the shirts and all that stuff. It's funny to me, the things that you say, how fans remember. So I just stuffed that unicorn cake or whatever down my fat gullet, and somebody posts up, "Hey Pete, where's the nacho cheese to go with that?" Because one time I talked about eating a zebra cake with nacho cheese on it, because in the lunchroom it fell into the nacho cheese. You're just not going to not eat the zebra cake, and it was actually really good. And a year and a half later, somebody brings that up, and that's what I love about what we do, man. Yeah. That's so much fun.
It's also a detriment at times too. They never forget.
They never forget.
Never forget. Oh. Arethyr in stock sale. Is that? I'm sure that's. We had a question on it. Is it? I'm sure that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, it'll happen at some point. I mean, obviously, our retail partners are going to put their stuff up, and they're going to be selling that stuff through their stores. We're going to have a very limited amount of Arethyr stuff in May at ToyCon New Jersey, but yeah, we always hold back our in-stock sale stuff until after our retail partners have been able to sell through at least some of their stock through their outlets. But that is coming, definitely.
Perfect.
I got a quick question for you guys. Steve, because of our good friend Guillermo, has had the ability to be the spokesperson for Mythic Legions on a little podcast YouTube video called Plastic Chats. And we don't know much about it because Steve, for some reason, refuses to tell us. But how do you guys feel that this is the guy that might be representing you and your toy line?
Well, Steve's always been a big proponent of Mythic Legions, and we're thankful for that. And I mean, I have never planted smooches on the other two guys' faces, but I got to kiss Steve once, and I give him a thumbs up. He's
magical.
Around.
One thing I can say about Steve, he's been with you guys. He's been with you guys for a long time, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Now, any of you guys, we really appreciate all the kind words you guys have said about Mythic Legions. It's like I said before, it's unbelievable to us that people are into the stuff that we're doing and the work that we're doing, and it just knowing that people appreciate what we do and enjoy what we do. We've gotten letters from people, like emails and stuff, from people saying we changed their lives with toys. And I think about it and I'm like, my initial thought is, how can that be possible? These are just toys. But look around me. Toys are my life, I mean, so I could completely understand how that could change their people's lives and bring some inspiration and some happiness to them. And we could not appreciate it more, how into the line people are. And you guys are, you've been our ambassadors, at least orally, AURALE.
Ambassadors, emphasis on the ass.
And then Travis going to shows, selling stuff and pushing stuff, and then now Steve on this show with Guillermo pushing our stuff. I mean, we couldn't have asked for three better guys to pump our stuff. We appreciate it.
And Pete sleeping on your couch so he can make it to ToyCon New Jersey. I mean, all that stuff. It's amazing.
Pete, was there a goblin in your pocket when you were putting out that fire last night?
No, there was not. I was actually sprinting down an alleyway watching everything else get caught on fire.
I don't think you were sprinting.
No.
I was sprinting, and that's exactly why I'm so tired today.
Yeah.
So,
are you guys allowed to have like action figures and stuff in your office on display or anything, or do you? When you get crap for it from your coworkers if you do?
Let me tell you this story. So my office right now is actually half the size of our podcast studio. It's a sham. We are actually building a brand new station, and it should be open probably in the next 4 weeks. And my office is big and beautiful. And I actually just went with the house color for the walls because the designer was kind of like, well, do you want to do some color? And I'm like, nope. I have got so much stuff that is going on the walls of this place. It is wasted with any other paint other than On the Rocks gray. So I'm super excited. I can't tell you how many customs people have sent us for the show and different, just various goodies and stuff. I can't wait to have. I've got a ton of great firefighter collectibles. Almost 20 years on the job. I got a ton of cool stuff for that. But that office is just going to be 100% me and action figures and posters and the whole shoot match. I can't wait to show it off when it's done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to cut this party short, but I think Eric had a hard out at 11, and we're a few minutes past his bedtime.
Perfect.
Yeah, I got to run, guys. But thank you so much for having us on and letting us talk about this new wave and everything you guys have done for us. Like I can't say it much better than CB, but we do truly appreciate it. It's awesome to be able to tell people that there is a Mythic Legions podcast. that is a cool thing to be able to tell people. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for taking the time to come on and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We look forward to sitting down with you again next week and talking more Mythics, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, fellas.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cody, are you ending the live stream? Yeah, let's end it.
Yep.
Can we end it and still talk to CB though?
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you, everybody that watched. We appreciate all the comments, the questions, the concerns, the insults. You guys take care. We'll see you next time.